something beyond academia. And this session will be moderated by Dr. Shivsekhar Datta, who is a professor from TMC Agartala. And he, in his own capacity, is a leader in academia working with the government. So he'll be a speaker as well on that panel. In the second panel, I shall be moderating. I'm Archisman Mahapatra. I'm a public health researcher working as the Executive Director of Grid Council in Noida. And I shall be moderating this second panel, which will be on with people from the programs. So these are into different program implementation activities, but have been going beyond just program implementation. So without further delay, I would request Dr. Shiv Datta to take over. Dr. Shiv?
Yeah. Thank you, Archishman. Very few people know that you are a true leader, I think. So people will get to know you more and more in the second part of the session. But at the outset, on behalf of all the speakers and all the leaders, whether we are the speakers or participants, doesn't matter. But on behalf of all of us, a big thank you to the organizers, Dr. Abhishek and his entire team, for having this session. It's a very unique session where we'll interact with each other. I know the adults do not like to be lectured, so we'll come straight forward to discussion part, and I'll directly invite Dr. Sharon, who is from Kerala, and he had a very excellent session 2 days back. So I'll request Dr. Sharon himself to introduce to the participants, and please get going. Dr. Sharon?
Yeah, and before Dr. Sharon, just a second, Dr. Sharon. Thank you, Dr. Shiv, for that kind introduction. I'd request the organizers to please switch on the video of the speakers.
Yeah. And to the participants, please raise your questions, queries in the chat box. Please continue to do that.
I think there are no restrictions for videos. I think everybody is allowed to have their videos on. Sarin will just transfer the presenting rights to whoever the speaker is.
I'm not getting anyone's video. Is it my bandwidth?
I think so, because you were disconnecting a lot of times. So probably we have videos for everyone.
I think Dr. Archishman also please switch on the YouTube, because I can see you and everybody in the YouTube panel.
Okay, right. Okay, fantastic idea. Thank you. Yeah, sorry to disrupt. Over to Dr. Sharon.
So I'll be presenting, right?
Yeah, Dr. Sharon.
Give an introduction.
Sharon, can you please make Dr. Sharon the presenter? Yeah.
Yes, Dr. Sharon is the presenter now.
Okay. So let me share my screen first. So is it visible? My screen is visible?
Yes.
Yeah. Video is running, right?
Video is not running, but we can see your screen.
Can you see the video? Is it running or?
Video as such is not. It's still.
If you have a link,
Hi, good morning. I'm Dr. Sharon. I'm a faculty of medicine. Oh, it's fine. It's okay. It's actually part of the video. Such a minor. Okay. So I'm an assistant professor in community medicine in one of the medical colleges in Kerala. So today I will be speaking about an interesting concept called butterfly effect in health. It's an inspiring story from my own life. So we'll go to that straight away. And I think the background will be working because of that network issue. So butterfly effect is a interesting concept in chaos theory, which explains how small things have like a flapping of a butterfly wings have nonlinear reverberations on a complex system, like resulting in a tornado, and that can produce significant impacts on the. So, come to my own story. My journey started in 2014 when I started my PG entrance. So that time it was just the boom of that Android and all those. Google has just introduced Android phones. So App Store was not as crowded as we see right now. So that time I got an idea that I can I started thinking of creating an app. So especially like a app that is not created previously. So my idea was to create a $1 billion app which can go viral with a lot of features. During that time, I was actually preparing for PG. So I missed all those PG preparation time. Then I went to YouTube and started learning all those app creation process and all. And finally, I came up with an app. Actually, it was an app for deaf people. It has a lot of features which was not integrated in any of the apps previously. So I was damn sure that it will be a success. So and I promoted it as a paid app of around $4. So and it got a lot of awards also during the time of launch, like Best App Award from Massachusetts Institute of Technology, all those. So I was super confident that I will definitely will make a lot of money, like this will be my career and all. But what happened is that the app was an utter failure. I got hardly say 1,000 downloads from that app launch. Then while expecting for $1 million, I got only $50. So almost 6 times that my amount was already spent on it. And needless to say, I screwed up the entrance preparation as well because I was spending all the time on app development. So during that time, I was depressed to the core. I don't know how to proceed all those this thing. So it took me around 6 months to actually recover from what has happened. So the next 2 years actually I analyzed on what went wrong. Actually that went wrong that whole process. So that whole process actually it was a one-man show. I was the whole single person who was working behind developing, promotion, all those processes. So I realized the importance of teamwork, how multiple people can actually make a different impact on the whole process. So I learned the detailed. I had done detailed research on app building process, app promotion, how to do internet marketing, everything. For the next 2 years, I spent on that. Then I identified the exact needs on which what all apps has the success to have the possibility for getting success and all. Then 2 years later, on 2016, I launched an app on diabetes. It's actually developed by myself, and the content actually 4 of my colleagues they helped in creating the content. So it was released on a World Health Day. So being an app on the World Health Day, and the theme was also diabetes. So during that time, it was actually widely shared among different individuals, so like my friends, colleagues, then various public health professionals, then various social media influencers, even the patients. Then within the app also there is an option to share the app to, they find it useful, they can share it to multiple people through WhatsApp and other social media. Then shared in multiple social networks like Twitter, then Facebook and all. So it was like a combined fluttering of multiple butterfly wings. So initially I was a only butterfly, but this time it was actually a teamwork of multiple people. So over the course of years, it became a powerful force. And on 2018, 2 years later, I converted that app, expanded the app to a website as well, which contains authentic evidence-based information on diabetes diet and management. So later on, 5 years later, after the initial launch, it actually became the tornado. Now that Diabetes app is now the most downloaded app in India. So the recent statistics shows that it has around 1.2 lakhs downloads overall, and the majority of the users are from US and as well as India. That website itself also became a huge success. It's now helping around 5.73 lakh diabetic individuals annually. And this is a screenshot of the number of visitors during the last 30 days. So it has around 47,000 users. Actually, all of them are diabetic individuals from different countries. So this app as well as the diabetes website project received a lot of international recognition. Even the large websites and magazines, they actually featured the app, and the large websites like Healthline, they actually awarded it as the best diabetes app of the year from 2018 to 2020 consecutively. We won that award for last 3 years. So overall, that whole initiative, it became one of the largest online repository on diabetes in India. It has a combined word strength of around 3 lakh words. It is exclusively written by doctors and based on scientific research. So what I want to tell from my own experience is that there will be, whenever you start a project on public health or whatever you start, there will be failures. Just like I I encountered. So don't dishearten with me. Just learn from whatever mistakes that you encounter and become strong from that. Then actually the teamwork actually makes your dreams work. So never work on it alone. Actually get the help from your friends or colleagues and have a combined effort. And just like I said initially, the combined fluttering can actually create a real tornado. In my case, the butterfly, it can be that initial fluttering. It can be either learning that it can be that fluttering of different people promoting it simultaneously. Anyway, it has worked for me, and it actually created a education. And whatever that you wish, they can actually have the power to change the world. So I wish to all the young person listening to this. So be high and putting your sincere effort, and you actually will be able to make a lot of change in the world. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Sharon. Wonderful presentation and wonderful journey. There are so many lessons to be learned from you. We'll get back to you with questions, but as Stephen Covey said, leadership is capacity to translate vision into reality. So Dr. Sharon had a vision and he converted this into a reality, and which is now a very big success. Now there are 4 or 5 key messages rather than his in addition to what Dr. Sharon has communicated with this slide as take home messages. I think there are other messages from his presentation, like he was committed to his cause and the creativity in which he believed in. So leaders always are committed to their cause and they believe in themselves and their the vision. The next part is, as he has rightly mentioned, teamwork. The leaders choose their team and work upon that team, the strengths and weaknesses on those teams. They know their working style and work upon that. Dr. Sharon came out of his comfort zone and then he progressed to this innovation. And also he was motivated and he learned from his failures, and he was not only himself motivated, he also motivated his other team members for this cause. So thank you, Dr. Sharon, for this excellent presentation and sharing with us your journey. I'll request the participants, if you can raise your questions in this chat box. Yes, I think Dr. Amrut Tuswami has raised its very good journey, sir. It should be taught in the app development should be taught in medical college. I think 2 days back we had a wonderful session on app development, and which was highly appreciated. Thank you, Sharon, Dr. Sharon, for that also. So now may I request Dr. Abhay, Dr. Abhay Ambilkar, are you there?
Yes, yes.
Dr. Abhay, please introduce yourself to the audience, and if you have a presentation, you can present it or you can directly speak on the screen.
Okay. Thank you, Shiv sir. I don't have any presentation, but I will be speaking the audience. So hello everyone. I am Dr. Abhay Ambika, Assistant Professor in Department of Community Medicine, Government Medical College, Gondia. I would be sharing a short story with you of my district Gondia. I would take you somewhat 6-7 months back, where COVID-19 was a big scare. It is now also, but at that time it was a much more. There was so much threat that even practitioners, private practitioners especially, were denying admission to the patients in emergency, especially like ANC for delivery or in chest pain patients for MI or COPD. For the reason, only the reason was they were not having their RT-PCR reports, COVID-19 reports with them. If it is there, then it is okay. But if it is not there, then they would deny treatment. At that time, RT-PCR reports were dispatched to the COVID centers like CCC, DCH, DCHC, but not were sent to the individuals. Uh, During this time, particularly, I was accompanying Dean Sir on daily basis to COVID-19 meeting at District Forum. Uh, and now I would like to pinpoint what triggered me to start my work, whatever I have done is there was a news in local newspaper it appeared as an ANC was denied admission by 8 different maternity hospitals for the reason that she was not having RT-PCR report with her. Though she had done RT-PCR report 2 days back and it was not available with her, even she was not aware whether RT-PCR or antigen was. Okay. So now when you look at this situation, you possibly think of two different ways. Like as it is an emergency case, patient cannot be denied treatment, and if someone denies it, yes, you can put some punitive action can be taken. And second thing is to make reports available to the patient. When it was raised at district forum, obviously collectorate had first way to deal with it. Hello, hello, am I audible? Okay.
Yes,
Okay.
yes, you are audible. We cannot see you.
Okay. Sir, there is connective problem of connection, I guess. There is a poor connection at my level. Sorry for that.
Okay. Okay.
I will start video then, but then I don't know whether it will be fine. Yes, okay. Sir, then collectorate was obviously in favor of the first way that I have said, that punitive action can be taken, and uh, there was no action was taken finally because patient kept mum on that issue, that which hospitals are there where she was admitted. I personally felt that second way of putting reports or making up reports to the patient is a better option. And so I worked on it. And then I started searching on ICMR portal, way to SMS, and then I was putting it in Google that yes, can I send SMS free to the patient? Whatever I can do, I tried, and then I got some solution. You can say I came to know. I met NIC people, and he said, but NIC said that yes, you can send SMS via quick SMS service, but you will be able to send a single SMS to a group, not a customized SMS, like positive, you are negative, and this action or that action can be taken. But uh, then I was like, yes, sir, please please tell me what is, and I insisted, please share me that service. So he showed me, and to his surprise, he said, yes, sir, we can send customized messages. Now, this is a new thing, and we got to learn from you. Okay. Then somehow, yes, am I audible? I am not getting. Am I
Yes,
audible?
you are very much audible. Please go
Yes,
ahead.
okay. Uh, okay. Okay. Then I continued to work, and then I could in 2 days I could uh, uh, tried all the technical things, and then finally I could send SMS, and I am sending it right now. But problem does not end here. There were many problems, but I would like to focus on two problems. Basically, whatever I have faced, and I have found out solutions for them. First was acceptability. Patients were not accepting it. Like they were saying, it is a SMS. It is just a SMS. So where is a PDF copy? We want that, like that. And then even practitioners were saying that. The second problem was not every patient was receiving that because of some network issue or something. So there were these two issues. Now, so I worked out further what can be done. And then I realized that there is already a COVID call center at district level, but it was almost non-functional. Then I requested DHO that if this call center can be utilized for this purpose. He responded positively, and then myself drafted a notice stating that SMS from NIC SMS portal are valid and no one should ask for PDF copy unnecessarily. Also, I put that those patients who did not receive SMS report may call on this toll-free number. Finally, I got signature from CS Dean and DHO, and then my reports were valid. And from that day, no one says that my reports are, and then there was also a portal for the patient. Those who did not receive it, they used to call. So now what happens is, on daily basis, I send SMS to 2000 patients on their mobiles, and then if some of them do not get the report, he will call to call center. Call center notes all the details and alternate number, and he shares it with me, and then I send it uh, uh, to them. Because of this, most of the patients are now getting these reports. You can say 99 or even 100% are getting those reports, and there is no rush at our hospital also for the reports. So then for this, daily I need to update the results. I need so much of time. It takes my day, my night. Sometimes my wife helps me, my friends help me. But finally, when I send SMS to these people, I feel very nice. It is really a great feeling that I get. Finally, I would say something that I have learned from my own experiences. When we come across any situation or problem, our first response is a genuine one, and that describes us as a good or bad. If we see somebody, कोई बच्चे को हम लोग देखते हैं कि रास्ते में भीख मांग रहा है, then what we feel is we feel bad. That is the first response, and that first response is genuine. If we feel like that, then we are a good person. But those who strive hard to solve the issue in whatever capacity, in whatever condition, become leader. And so I mean, I do not we should not restrict ourselves to be a good person, but should go further and become good leader. I guess that is all from my side. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Abhay. Like we requested the speakers not to be very modest and also highlight, because you have been chosen because you have contributed in a special way. That's why you are here as speakers, and we all want to listen to you, your journey. What messages actually I gathered from Dr. Abhay's journey is, uh, he didn't try to be, just he didn't relaxed, so he was proactive, and that is the message, that leaders are always proactive to the situation. Second is that don't try to be better than your contemporaries. He was trying to be better on what he had or what he has learned, and according to the situation, he applied what he wanted to do. Third is that leaders are always ready to learn and communicate effectively. So he communicated very effectively with DHOs and other authorities, and he was ready to learn from the internet and from the system again. What we call is this as a transformational leadership. So this part is a small way of transformation, the system or the mechanism which has happened. So thank you, Dr. Abhay. It was great to listen to you. And I'll again request the participants, please ask the speakers what were their strengths, what they recognize, or which have contributed to their success, or their limitations or weaknesses, how they deal with their weaknesses, and the situations, difficult times, how they negotiated, because that is a lesson. Many of times, like Dr. Achisman said, we learn from very senior faculties who have already accomplished so many things, and so they probably don't remember also those little steps where they negotiated with difficult persons, difficult situations. Rather, at this age, for us, the stones are more important, and at the age of 60 plus, the success is more highlighted. So I'll request all the participants to please raise questions and learn from each other. Not only you may have a story with yourself, and you can share it directly on the screen. Now I have the honor to request Dr. Aksa, who is our third speaker. And Dr. Aksa, like previous two speakers, I'll request you to directly introduce yourself and please share your journey with us. Over to you, Dr. Aksa.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, organizers. I am Aksa, and I am Associate Professor of Community Medicine at Hamdard, Delhi. Recently, I was in a lot of news, saying that I am the first transgender person to head a COVID vaccination center in India. And some people went on and added probably even Asia, we don't know. Now, while that news, was covered by a lot of national media, followed by even international media, and it was really very, pleasing to be in the limelight. But at the same time, it was very disheartening that in a country of 130 crore people, with thousands of COVID vaccination centers, I am the only trans person to head the COVID vaccination center. What is even more miserable is to know that the trans persons, who happen to be around 1 to 1.5% of the population, at least of our country, and out of thousands and literally lakhs of doctors that we have in our country, how many trans doctors have you really seen? We have a WhatsApp group of trans doctors who identify themselves as trans doctors, and the number is, can anyone guess? It's only 15 or even less than that. So you can only imagine, why is it really so difficult for a trans person to become a doctor? Is a question. In my childhood, when I identified as a trans person, and though I was in the stealth, which means I was not out in the public, for me, it was all an inner journey. It was an inner problem, but no one was aware that I am a trans person, and no one knew about my hardships. And therefore, for me, to go through the school, to go through the college, to go through medical and other colleges, all these struggles were internalized. At the same time, I wonder, if I was an out and out trans person, then difficult journey would have been for me. Most of the trans people who, even try to get educated are not able to complete school education, because our system is based on binaries of girls and boys, and there is literally no place or accommodation made for the trans persons. When it comes to education के बाद में अब हम employment की बात करें, then how many trans persons are in paid dignified labor? The trans person is so that, when I think about a trans person, the image of a hijra or a kinnar comes to our mind, and also the one who is begging at the traffic signals, or who is into prostitution or sex work, or someone who is doing drugs, or dancing in the weddings. How many trans engineers, doctors, politicians have we really seen? So there is no mainstream entry of the trans persons because there are so many roadblocks in the way. I remember my journey as a trans medical student, and I've also documented it and written about it a lot. Though I was not out to a lot of my colleagues and former colleagues here, and I was not really out to a lot of people. But then that struggle was really so much that I had to make a lot of compromises based on that. Community medicine was my second choice. My first choice was psychiatry. And to get admission in psychiatry, I would have had to go to Pune and stay in a hostel. And there are no hostels for trans persons, or there are no gender neutral. Based out of Mumbai, therefore I did not need a hostel. When we speak of journey and very less documented. The problem began, when I started transitioning, and I was in a faculty position at that time in a college. I was an assistant professor. And those 2 years of transition, because during transition, you don't look like a masculine person, you don't look like a feminine person. The amount of roadblocks just increase manifold. Yeah, so even like getting my name changed from Zakir Hussain to Aksa Sheikh was a big trouble. Getting the gender changed is a big trouble. And trust me, you just can't change those names in the educational certificates. That's a lifelong, baggage that we have to carry. And there's so much of discrimination that, in fact, I had to leave my undergraduate WhatsApp group because of the transphobic comments, which would come my way. So even today, it's a huge struggle in spite of so much of achievement to do that. But then what I suggest to people is that you have to be a fighter. When you are a vulnerable position, you have to fight. I'm someone, who wanted to do suicide a few years back. I wanted to kill myself because I didn't find any hope for me in this world. And today from there, I have come to a place where I'm trying to give hope to other people, trying to be an icon. And as the moderator is saying, do not be modest. And trust me, I will never be modest about it, because I want to tell people, in spite of being a trans person who are one of the most marginalized, you can command and you can lead and you can make lives even better of the non-trans persons, right? And trust me, if you just unleash your potential, then there is no going back. So, there have been a lot of challenges which I've faced, but then a lot of good opportunities have also come my way. And one of them has been in the form of mentorship. And I'm very happy that the Young Leaders Conclave is also looking at mentorship of the young professionals very nicely. I had the fortune of getting very good mentors, and these were the mentors who were not from the public health background. They were the mentors from theater background, they were mentors from medical humanities, medical education, technology, and people who are working in the disability sector. As we say in public health, everything is included. It's not just community medicine, it's not medicine or the government health programs. So you can learn from theater professionals, you can also learn from the disability rights activists. And I have used those things, in my own activism. I'm a blogger, I'm an activist, and I'm also a petitioner. In fact, I had filed a petition with the Delhi government to ban the surgeries on intersex children, the unnecessary surgeries which the parents do on their children to convert them from intersex to male child or intersex to female child, which is basically child abuse. Unfortunately, the Delhi government did not accept it, so we had to go to the Delhi Commission for Protection of Child Rights, and we got an order secured from there, ensuring that there is a ban on the unnecessary surgeries which are being done on the intersex children for sex conversion purposes. So this has been one of the highlights, of which I'm extremely proud. Also, I would like to share that, when we speak about leadership qualities, think beyond hospitals, think beyond colleges. The entire world is your stage. 2020 was one of the most difficult years for all of us. We had COVID, we had lockdown, we had the migrant crisis. And in Delhi, we also had the Delhi Northeast riots happening. And during that time, while we were sitting at home in our, lockdown thing, we were like, what are we really doing here? Sitting at homes and just Googling and reading news and not doing anything. So we set up a group, an informal group, which worked together to help the migrants get their food, to stay back in the urban areas, not go back to their homes. And trust me, though we were not a registered NGO, we got a fund through crowdfunding of 7 million rupees, through which tens of thousands of families were given food grains. And then we didn't, settle down with that. We, in 2021, now it is registered as an NGO, and we have already set up a charitable primary healthcare center in one of the areas in Delhi. And now we also want to establish a charitable dialysis center, because that's one of the most neglected public health problems. So I just tell people that, keep your eyes and ears open, find out your calling, and trust me, your calling is not one lifelong. The calling can change every year. 2020 could be one, 2021 could be another. Just do what you enjoy, and opportunities will follow. Challenges will come, but you will do well. Trust yourself, trust your instincts. I'll stop here. If there are any questions, we'll be very happy to answer.
Thank you, Dr. Aksa. Your journey is truly inspirational, and that is what leaders should inspire. If I have to say just 3 words about leaders, leaders are supposed to inspire. That's all. Now, to the participants, Dr. Aksa is in true sense a transformational leader. She is the face of empowerment. You can call her as a trendsetter. So don't just see the outcome, see the process through which she has gone through. And she has narrated it very nicely and crisp. And one message for the audience is that Dr. Aksa knew her strengths and weaknesses. She worked on her weaknesses and she worked on her strengths also. And that's what the process is a learning for all of us. I think that's, thank you very much, Dr. Aksa. And there are 2 compliments for you. I think that we have already communicated to. So you can see there are a lot of claps in the chat box which you're raising when you were speaking. So on behalf of the participants, let me communicate with you all these things. So I think all the speakers, 3 speakers, are done with the first session, which is the first half of the session. Dr. Achishman, you want me to continue or? You are not audible.
Sir, you very well said that let's not be modest, right?
Yeah.
That's my word to you. You should not be modest.
Acha.
So please go on. Talk about your experience as well.
Acha. Okay. So I'll be very brief. And there are so many stories I want to share because there are many sessions on leadership where I have shared with my stories. But here I'll just within 2-3 quick events where I want to share my journey with you. See, I am a alumnus of Sevagram only. And by the time I finished my, in a crisp manner, by the time when I finished my PG, there are 3 or 4 awards in, I think, IPSM competition, scientific papers. So by the time I finished my PG, I had received all the papers. And then, sort of thing, I was finding for a cause or what to do now next. So I was supposed to join a management institute, IHMR Jaipur, and then I joined the medical college in Pondicherry. And then I was in a doubt whether I have taken the right decision or not. And I was searching for a purpose in my life. And in 2016 and 2017, I joined 2 courses on leadership, one on education leadership and other on management, leadership management course. Where I learned that now I have a purpose, in a separate purpose, in addition to teaching, research, and what you call academia. And one thing I learned there is the more you contribute, the more you get recognized. So it's not your certificates or achievements which count. The more you contribute, the world has always accepted the contributors and less the achievers. So you continue to do that. So the next thing, in year 2018 was the first.
May we request others to please mute themselves?
ये थीसिस तो हम आपको कल डोनेट करेंगे, पूरा अपने पास चेक कर लेंगे, फिर कल डोनेट कर देंगे। बुक्स तो आप आज ले सकते हैं।
देवयानी मुदिता also.
हाँ ये वाली, हाँ ये सुरेंद्र के तरफ। Yes sir. और ये थीसिस
Okay, am I audible to now? Am I audible now?
Yes, sir.
Yes. So year 2017-18 was the first breakthrough for me when I decided to organize a conference of national level, and everybody asked me that you cannot do that because you are too young for that. And there were 2 more issues because my wife was pregnant with our second child, and my father was on deathbed with cancer. And during that period, it was very difficult for me to organize a workshop of that stature. But that I took as a challenge that and my also family also supported for that. Now, if I knew that if I can come out with that and I can deliver during that time, it will be a lesson for me also, and I can showcase my leadership qualities. Of course, I backed up on my great team which I had with me, and by last 4-5 years, I had a very good team with me also. So that is what, and we came out with flying colors. And so the message I want to give you on this lesson is that leaders take opportunities even during difficult times. And this is the time when I had very good rapport with the national level leaders, the bureaucrats, and the state level, all the policymakers, and up to a certain extent with the national level policymakers and the stalwarts in public health. So that was one. And that was when the skills and the abilities and the leadership qualities were recognized by the authorities. And that gave me chance to come into, when I got in close touch with the policymakers, the government officials. So that was the breakthrough point for me. The second was during COVID times. Way back in 2010, in March, April, when I repeatedly communicated through print media, through telemedia, and through various sources to government, through state government and to the Northeast, various other parts of government, that you should be ready with this, and these are the things you should follow because we are not doing it in right way, and we should be prepared for this pandemic. And then I was heavily criticized from the government officials, and even I was threatened, that I will be put behind bars for all those things. There were so many things, but then I consulted with my mentors, And they said, if you're scientifically correct, stand on your ground and don't lose hopes, and that some or the other day you will be discussed and people will appreciate your request and these things. So the first I wrote a letter to Niti Aayog, and Dr. Vinod Paul replied to me that these are recommendations which we'll consider about this. And then I communicated this to the health ministry and to health director and to health secretary. And then suddenly it was everything was back on track. And then immediately I was given charge of this the biggest COVID hospital in our state immediately within 2 months. And any meeting I was called and to give. So there were many guidelines which I developed, and that was the process. So if you are scientifically correct and if you are true to yourself, if you believe in your strengths and if you believe on your scientific acumen, then even though you are challenged by the highest authority, sooner or later your stand will be accepted. And that is the other way, where leaders take decisions and they stick on to their decisions. If they're correct, though they know they're correct and backed up by a good team, so sooner or later they are going to be accepted by the authorities. I think that is what I think. 2 or 3 stories, I think, more than enough to. Of course, I'm ready to the participants if you ask any questions. That there are so many other stories, but I'll let the others also to respond to these queries. Over to the next session to Dr. Achishma.
Yes, thank you, Dr. Shiv. Thank you, all the speakers. Excellent morning start. Really excited. And this is a never-ending story. Like, I have been interacting with so many people across the country, across different walks, and each time there is something new to find, something to get inspired. I would request all the audience to be please vocal as much as you could. Write your answers, chat over here in the window. It's an opportunity to mention yourselves, voice your thoughts, and also share the wisdom that you have. We do not have that kind of a bandwidth to identify the leader within each of you, but definitely there is a leader hidden within each of us. And we need to tap into that wise person, right? So if you have something to share, please come be very upfront. Don't be modest. Don't hide your strengths and weaknesses. And there's a chat window. You want to come live on video, we'll take you live. Now, this session is already overshooting time. I would speed up a bit. We have a video coming from Dr. Sensi. We thought that let's have some female representation as well. Its leadership is unigender, that we do acknowledge, but career paths and challenges could be different. Now, Dr. Sensi is a district tuberculosis officer from Kerala. She's the youngest one in the country, and she is in a meeting, day-long meeting today, but she woke up today morning at 3 o'clock and recorded a video for us. So I'll be playing that video. Allow me to do that. Is my screen visible?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So here we have Dr. Sensi's video.
Hi friends, I'm Dr. Sensi. I'm working as the District TB Officer of Idukki District in Kerala as part of the Department of Health Services, Ministry of Health and Family Affairs, Government of Kerala. So I'm here to talk about my story, and I think my career has been pretty straightforward, but then I had to make my choices. After my schooling, and once I joined MBBS, my background was I was somebody who was interested in a lot of activities. I was a part of a lot of organizations and cultural activities, and I had multitude of interests. So after joining MBBS, once I started learning community medicine, I realized that is where my interest is. And I realized that it was going to be a lot of competence, which other clinical subjects that confine us to the four walls of the room, the hospital, most of the time cannot. So it suited my nature and my interests and line of work. People advised me to take up or to give it a try for civil services. But then, since I was already doing MBBS, I thought not to leave that stream and continue in the same line, and community medicine was the option. I decided to go to CMC Vellore as a pre-PG, which was an option at that time. But then some of the young faculty members, like how I am today, in those days, I called up one of my teachers who was a young faculty member in my department, who was already doing community medicine PG in a different state. And he told me, community medicine is not always a bed of roses, and it is not always WHO as you think. Sometimes there will be struggles, and sometimes you will succeed. But you really have to make your options. So think twice before you make a decision, or maybe you just write the entrance examination. And if community medicine is what the real passion is, maybe that is what you will do. Even after you write the entrance examination and after looking at your options. And I decided to write the entrance examination to get admission in St. John's Medical College, Bangalore, and I chose community medicine as the subject department which I wanted to get admission. And fortunately, I did. I joined St. John's as a PG, and then 3 years have been absolutely awesome because St. John's is such an amazing college which gives you a lot of opportunities. But as a PG, mind you, all of us go through difficult times. There will be best of days, there will be the worst of days. There will be times when we have absolutely nice relationship with all of our colleagues and our faculty members. Sometimes there will be shaky relationship with co-PGs and faculty members. But there will be days when you're disappointed, and there will be days when you're elated. It's all part of the journey. So if at all you're going through some of these mixed feelings, do not be disheartened. I'm saying this because I've seen PGs who go into depression when things don't go their way, or if they have some sort of a problem, and you're in the department. So, but then it is old. Finish after 3 years, and then you will be on your way to a different life. Then once you're out of your college could be the best, or it could be average, or whatever it is. Whatever you learn when you're there is only the thing that matters. But since when you're out of your college, you will have to find your own person.
I'll just pause to ask, is there a transmission problem with the video, or is everyone getting its audio?
We are able to hear. Video is not very clear.
Video is not very
issue with transmission. Dr. Achishman, I think you can switch off your video, and then the transmission might improve.
Okay, yeah. So
you can just write.
Yeah, are you still getting it? You're still getting the video?
Yes, very much. Yeah.
Interest will be leading you to get where you want to get. For some people, it comes easy, and for others, it doesn't. For me, I had 3 options in front of me. Actually, 4 options. One was to be an assistant professor. One was to go into public health because I was already in the rank list of Kerala Public Service Examinations. And then the third one was to be a surveillance medical officer in WHO, like some of my friends. And the fourth one was to go into research. I removed WHO and research from my options soon after realizing that they may not be the best of options for my own reason. And after discussing with people who've been part of these activities and have held high positions, the 2 of my options were teaching and public health. So what I did was I called up all of the eminent people in my state who've been in the field of public health, and I spoke to them and discussed with them. And I realized public health is my field of interest, and I was not really keen into teaching and doing research without being in the mainstream of public health field activities. So I chose public health. But then there also there was something at stake. And when I joined public health, my post was also that of an assistant surgeon, who is a person who basically manages OPD and does clinical work. But there was a hope that eventually there was some policy changes that's happening, which will let people with MD community medicine take administrative posts. So from social services, over the period of time, I had realized that I liked administration and I had good administrative skills and I had good skills as a leader, which is something you need to explore for yourself. What are your strengths? What are your weaknesses? So I went with the gut feeling to take public health, and eventually it worked out for me. And I became the youngest district TB officer in the country in 1 year period. I had personal struggles also over the years. My mother passed away, and then I had to deal with the grief, and I had to go into a different state for the first time to follow my PG course. So there will be personal struggles also happening all the time. But those are all phases. You can come out of it and do not get caught up in all the issues of daily life, and you don't feel like my options are minimal, or I do not know what to do right now. Because let me tell you, when I started this journey, I had no idea this is where I was going to get, but I was sure that this is what I wanted. Then we all want to be appreciated as young people, but most of the time it doesn't happen. When you don't get appreciated for your good work or your efforts, do not be disheartened. Just follow your heart, do your work, and someday you will be rewarded. Or sometimes not being criticized is the best reward, especially in a field where I'm working with a lot of senior people. Sometimes they do appreciate you, sometimes they don't, but then sometimes they don't criticize you. That means that you're doing something right. So those are the realities of life. Then comes the personal life. For me, as a woman, work-life balance is the thing that I struggle with and strive to do every day. I am a mother, a wife, a sister, a daughter, and also a program manager at the same time. And those challenges that life throws at you, sometimes you will not be prepared for that. I was not prepared for any of my personal challenges, and I just had to take it in the stride. You need good family support, and sometimes when you cannot, especially for young women out there, when you cannot follow the rat race, you shouldn't follow the rat race. Do not always be so competitive. Your personal life is your journey, and your journey you should do it in your own time. Sometimes you'll have to take small breaks. I fortunately didn't have to, but sometimes you do. Then don't be disheartened. Take those little breaks. Take your personal life also into account, and do what is right for you. So this is something that a lot of young women face as young daughters. Then always be mindful about your physical, mental health, because without those, you cannot succeed in life as a person. Always do good, be good, and all the best to you. Thank you.
So that was Dr. Sensi from Kerala, and a mixed career that ways in academia as well as going into programs. Now, when she's actually led the way over there, let's get into the program sessions. We have some fantastic speakers over there, and each has unique experience to share. We'll take questions. So we have time towards the end to take as many questions as we want. The speakers will be the panelists then. May I request Dr. Arun to switch on his video? Yeah, video is on already.
Yeah.
Over to you, Dr. Arun.
It's audible, sir. Audible, sir?
Yes.
Okay. So shall I share my screen?
You'll get the button activated by the presenters.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, sure. Okay. Here, Dr. Arun, junior resident of community medicine from Chennai, Sri Ramachandra Medical College. And I'm also a founder of NGO called Trust of International Foundation for People's Welfare and Development. So basically, I want to share. I will share some of my stories. It's a long. I mean, it's a long story, inclusive of my personal and professional career. First thing, after completing my 12th standard, I am very bit confused because from my early days, I was. I mean, my passion is to become a good administrator, and I want to become an like IAS. This was my from childhood passion ambition. But later, what happened is a twist is, I mean, after completing my 12th, I got a merit seat in BBS, and for fortunate or unfortunate, I become. I mean, I'm into the medical field. After in second year of my MBBS, once in like many people's life, some incident will change your life, right? So that was happened in my life. What happened is I met and differently able. That means disabled people. One meeting. So they requested me to get an I mean belt. I mean prosthetics. I mean it's about like 2,000 only. It's a 70 years old male. So he was I was requesting me and was asking, please help me, kindly help me, doctor. That moment I felt that I was helped because we have money, right? So I helped. Later I asked the one question to that organization, that disabled organization. How many people are there in your disability organization? They said about 1,000 plus disabled people in one organization. So I thought, what can we can do from our medical student side? So they said we can conduct a camp. So that was the first moment in 2016. We conducted a camp along with my friends. I mean, medical students, a group of students, along with my medical one of the medical organizations. So this was the medical. First camp. So this is the first step for my NGO, we can say. But later, many requests are coming from all the people because there's so many people there in out for helping and I mean social service, and I got contacts from many NGOs in my local area, and along with them we are doing so many many help like kind of and malaria for in a village. We took in one village. We did all the interventions for that area. We don't.
Have we lost Dr. Arun's audio?
Dr. Arun, we are unable to hear you. Yeah.
So it's audible, sir? Okay.
Yeah.
Life journey.
Your audio got knocked.
Third year. Just a minute, sir. Just a minute. So it's audible? Okay.
Yes.
Again, we have a plan that we want to know about the sign language, because in first camp saw that disabled people are very I mean to communicate with the people like deaf and mute people is very difficult to communicate. Many doctors also like having a translator, I mean sign language experts to communicate. So we wanted to learn that sign language. So they asked me to conduct any program to learn the sign language. To conduct for medical workshop like science. So any ideas that will provoke you to do something. So I don't know whether basically my administration, my passion towards administration make me to do like this of events, even is find time to study for MBBS, but I was literally into this service. I mean, for doing something for people. So that also makes my colleagues, my friends, teammates also are very get inspired and motivated to do something for the society. So later we conducted an sign language workshop. along with 300 medical students around my Chennai. With television sign language experts, but we can see this will be one of the event, but we are find very challenging and it's very difficult to organize because since it is an young age for all of us, but we find I mean every day evening after finishing our college we go to the this kind of organizing these events, and this is apart from our medical career. But later we find they are not only as a public health, as medical health care alone. There are so many things around our world. So any youngsters, any young people should not only concentrate on the healthcare alone. We have to look after like what are the other sectors. It is a holistic thing, so multi-sectoral things. So that is what that was make us to initiate an NGO. So we have to start an NGO because we have a team. I was thought like we have a good team. Why can't we unite all the people and have to start on NGO? This will be constantly they can motivate and have to bring their life, I mean, career and passion, everything into a place. So that's what we find. We are registered an NGO in the name of International Foundation because we have. I was attached with many medical students association organizations. So I find I have people's. I mean, I have contacts in all the world also. So I wanted all the people to come into the scene. So that is what I wanted to start an international organization. So I find some of the difficulties, some of the drawbacks in first event, that was medical camp for 2016, right? So because many people, we are conducting camp and we are giving medicines for 2 days or 3 days or 1 week. So after that, what we'll do? We don't have any follow-up in a screening camp or in community-based any camps. So what I thought is, we are about 100 and 200 medical students are there. So what I was thinking, why can't we follow up the student, I mean, patients or beneficiaries constantly? So because like one medical students can follow up with one disabled people, that will be helpful for them to, I mean, have the rapport and do the tertiary care, I mean, the further surgeries or further development of the health of the beneficiaries. So later we did, but to do like that kind of events, I need a big support. So what I did is I got tie-up from many medical colleges in my area, like Ramachandra Medical College and Mada Medical College and Muthukumar Medical College and so many medical colleges. I personally went to the management. I told about my vision towards like follow up with the patients along with the students help. So that will be whether they help, like medical colleges help, definitely we can do this. At last, we did a camp associated with Star Ramachandra Medical College, Ragas Dental College, Muthukumar Medical College, Indian Medical Association Junior Doctors Network, and Udavikaram Association. And I got tie-up with, I mean, MOU with all the organizations, and I conducted an event. You can see the difference. In the first event, we have only 30 members, and this camp, we about at 120 to 130 medical students on Chennai alone. That team development, this is like constantly we have to work hard because for me, I want to self motivate myself. I want to be in rapport with all the students and have to motivate them, all the students also. So that makes us huge success. And we did 17 surgeries along with this help of all the organizations, and we have screened about 500 disabled people in one camp. And further the organization itself like getting extended, and we have done so many or I mean other works. We gone out of the healthcare and we did events in agriculture, healthcare, I mean agriculture, I mean in education and women's and child empowerment, all the sectors we touched. But unfortunately the COVID has happened last year. So what we thought is we have to do something from our side. So why can't we do, I mean, create an homemade sanitizer? We are medical students are into the lockdown. So we planned for a homemade hand sanitizer. So I mean, we created the hand sanitizers with the help of medical students. We provided for three districts along with yeah. The home itself is the raw material position of and about and we collected funds from all the sponsors, gave for people like 6,000 frontline workers. Many people who left out of in a roadside. So we find that people, along with the support of all the NGOs. So these were the pictures we did during the COVID time, and also we gave the sanitizer to the district collectors and superintendent of police for first line workers. And later we find there's a mental health. I mean, everyone are stuck in a house and quarantine. I mean, lockdown period. We want to give some of the virtual. We got to start some virtual events which will benefit for them. So virtually we did debate on quarantine. You are quarantined. That means we conduct series of debates along with some of the big news channels, chief editors of news channels. We brought them into it, and we because many youngsters want to share their personal views of any topics, but they don't have platform to share, especially for big chief editors of big channels. So when I met personally, I mean, I requested the channel persons, and I get them to our forum, and we have selected the youngsters around all over India, and I conducted and debate quarantines in lockdown. So these are the sessions, others some of the events in our thing. And also we have a young leaders protocol. What we have a young conclave in IAPSM in community medicine. So there is what we thought is we have to get some of the young leaders around all over the world. We have to get into that one session, I mean, a series of episodes. They have to share their stories, what we are doing now. So that will help for other youngsters to get motivated. So we did an young leaders podcast. So we have to start. We have started an people there. So we started that, and mosquito many events. Even in agriculture, we have events, and Tulaparam means it's in human rights. Also should eventually. So these are some of the events we conducted in NGO. This NGO. So basically, I was very bit confused in my career earlier. Then I find after completing this MBBS whether I should do, I mean, UPSC or should do because 5.5 years of journey in MBBS I should not. I mean, as it is, I can't go for IAS administration, but I prepared for 6 months in IAS, but preparation, but I wanted to do something else. Later, I find community medicine is the right platform to, because since I was, my journey started from public health. So I want to do something, but I don't know, I'm searching for things. So I finally got a platform in SPM. I'm doing an junior residence. Since the NGO is also going ahead, but I find difficulty in managing my PG and managing the NGO and other things. But I allot myself like from scheduled my days, and I usually we have an office, so I will coordinate with the team members and things of it's going on. It's going good. So finally, I wanted to say something. What I mean is, create yourself based on your dream. So my dream, my whole things started from a dream, want to become something. So that administrator. So create yourself based on your dream and make your dream as a passion. So follow your dream, passion with your hope. Definitely your dream comes true one day. So that was happened in my life. I think I'm going in a right way. Thank you so much. Thanks for the opportunity for all the organizers. Thank you.
Thank you, Arun. Unique journey. Congratulations for the success that has come all the way, and many more to come. Now there are certain aspects that I learned from your journey, and of course it's subjective. All of us would have taken different inspirations, but something that I could relate to is the ability to be inspired and stay motivated. Now many of the youngsters, and of course many leaders as well, they easily reject the other person. Suppose someone has done a piece of research, we immediately say this is bullshit, this is not nicely done. But the ability to take an inspiration, whichever capacity, small or large, and stay motivated, stay committed, to create yourself, that's the exact phrase that you used, create yourself based on your dreams, be risk-taking, entrepreneurship, and the ability to mobilize resources. Now, leaders would have challenges, but how do they resolve such daunting challenges? So, ability to mobilize resources. They could be in your community, they could be by reaching out, by collaborating, but those are certain specs I could see in your journey. Thank you so much for sharing it. We'll take up further questions. Thank you. Let me now request Dr. Parag. Dr. Parag, you're in?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes. So before we get started with you, can I just ask if Dr. Shailendra is also there? Dr. Shailendra, have you joined? Dr. Shailendra, can you just give a shout out? I doubt he's there. So we'll go with Dr. Parag and then we'll go to Dr. Priyadarsh. So Dr. Parag, your show.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Ajusman. And thank you all the organizers for giving this opportunity to share my experiences with you all today. So just to begin, I'm currently working as a senior technical officer at Japaico, India, based at New Delhi, for a USAID health-funded health system strengthening project called NISHTA, which is there in 14 intervention states across the country and is focused on strengthening primary healthcare services through health and wellness centers. And in last 8 months since I joined this position, I'm extremely happy that I could contribute significantly in shaping organizations' work around COVID-19. So together as a team, we have developed, advanced data dashboard with the predictive model on COVID-19 for Maharashtra, which is being used at the highest level in the state. Some more, including IVRS-based tracking and monitoring of home isolated patients in Chhattisgarh and Jharkhand, IVRS-based risk communication methods on COVID-appropriate behaviors in selected districts of MP and Jharkhand, then telemedicine services in Nagaland, and there are many more. And more recently, realizing the need for a strong surveillance network, we have also ventured into implementing integrated health information platform, that is IHIP, in 6 of our states. So my routine work here involves planning, reviewing strategy documents with the country office team, interact with donors, implementing agencies, and also advocate with the states and the national leadership bureaucrats for implementation of these programs. Earlier to this, I did my second master's in health policy planning and financing, which is a joint course at London School of Hygiene and Tropical Medicine and London School of Economics. And it was a wonderful experience. More than just the content, I actually learned the problem solving skills. I took up some of the modules, including healthcare financing, health system and policies in developing countries, economic evaluation, analytical models for decision making. And I was also awarded, distinction for my dissertation on, it was titled Interstate Analysis on Health System Efficiency in India. Earlier to LSHTM, I worked as as a surveillance medical officer in NPSP WHO for 2.5 years. And within 1.5 years of my initial tenure, I was also given an additional charge of sub-regional team leader, which is quite rare, to happen. And my role there was to be involved in strategic planning, project management, advising the state government on policy decisions, not only related to vaccine and surveillance, but also catering to larger health aspects and also preparing PIP for the state. So I was actually working as a link between the community and the government, and I learned to effectively engage and communicate with the multiple stakeholders, be it development partners, government officials, professional organizations, medical colleges, and I gained experience.
प्रताप रक्षे काशीनाथ जोरे है.
Dr. Kajal, can you please
नीचे में ही होगा रे, ज्यादा ऊपर नहीं होगा. लास्ट.
Right. Sorry. So I was there. I was telling about, was communicating with multiple stakeholders, and during this time I gained extensive experience in immunization service delivery and community engagement, and lot more. Now, all this that I've told you so far reflects only the outcome of my work. Perhaps the process of reaching here has been full of ups and downs. I would say more failures than success that I've got, and which we really do not share more often. And I would just like to share one of the incidents that happened just when I was starting my public health career. So it was before I chose the course for MD community medicine. I went and spoke to one of the professors in the department about the subject and the career options, and he drew me a wonderful picture. citing me as a top public health expert with a die-hard market demand and, earning millions of dollars. I was like, I didn't have to think twice, and I just went back and submitted, my fees. I signed all the documents. And now when I joined, actually, our schedule was to attend, health clinics from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m., prescribe paracetamol, ORS, zinc, antibiotics, and that's all. There was absolutely nothing else to do. And there was departmental politics as well. My God, I was so demotivated doing the same thing for over and over, and for first few months. And I went to the professor again and asked him, genuinely, sir, how am I going to achieve, the rosy picture that you had drew the other day while doing all this? And to this, he responded, that is up to you to figure out. You have to decide your own path. I was stunned and had nothing to say. For next few days, I also observed and realized that many of my colleagues and seniors, they had some different aspirations. For some, this degree was like a passport to, a higher designation or a preferred place of posting in the service that they had come from. And, others were just as lost as me. I felt stuck and clueless of what should I do. And then, I was looking out for opportunities, and I came across this wonderful opportunity in CMC Vellore. It was a 2 weeks training on basic epidemiology and statistics, if I remember it correctly. And, that gave me confidence. And I continued. I got ICMR grant for my thesis. I also got the opportunity to go to Kashmir for emergency response during floods. I went to London for a short course in global health, did an internship at Research Gadchiroli under Dr. Abebang, attended, a lot of workshops. One of them was in Sevagram, HTA fellowships at PGI Chandigarh, presented papers at national, international conferences. For all these, I was never allowed permission from my department. So I had to save my leaves, my all annual and sick leaves, and utilize each one of them. I never took any leave for myself during my MD, and I utilized all my AL sick and sick leaves for my capacity building. And today I owe my career to these wonderful experiences from my residency that helped shape my understanding of public health. One of the most important lessons that I've learned during this time, and I also strongly recommend that, is please do not follow someone else's career. Like, just be confident and have faith in yourself and define your own path. I'm sure you will enjoy it the most, and you are most likely to succeed in it. So choose your area of interest in public health and follow it with passion. As Dr. Arun also mentioned, if you are not able to decide your area of interest, then please make attempts and try harder. If you're lucky enough, opportunities will definitely find you, but never stop trying. Always keep looking out for opportunities and take, grab opportunities at an earliest. Lastly, development sector, including working with NGOs or, INGOs or donor agencies. There's a lot of scope for community medicine specialists, but we just need to have some relevant experiences and the right attitude for grabbing such opportunities. I strongly recommend that when we are doing our residency, please engage more with the national health programs and try to align your efforts with the mandates of those programs. So finally, I would just like to say, please don't be afraid of making mistakes. If you can learn from your experiences, they're no more the mistakes. They become your strong pursuits. This is all I wanted to share for today, and thank you for listening. Thank you.
Thank you, Parag, for being so candid with your confessions. And that's a strong message that goes to all youngsters, that we should give ourselves opportunities. So explore and engage as much as you could, because that's what helps you in shaping a vision. But also remember that the best opportunities come with the best best disguise. So they would look as very uphill tasks, uphill challenges, but you need to grab onto them, explore them, they will turn out to be as opportunities. One more thing that Dr. Parag highlighted is technical education. Many times acquiring good education motivates you further to do good work. And the nature of leadership in our country is such that unless you have a degree, a good technical degree, may not be from the best place, but at least something to validate your say in that domain, that will help you out. You need to acquire that. But it's not necessary that you always get into a premier college or a premier institution to shine as a leader. Those institutions are ecosystems, right? So you may get into such an ecosystem, good enough. Don't manage, then choose your ecosystem. Try and be a part of this ecosystem. He went and did an internship at Search Gadchiroli, right? So he reached out. So you need to identify your own shoe, carve your own path, have a goal in mind. Maybe you're confused, but you will eventually move in that direction. So thank you, Parag. So many things in a nutshell. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Now we have Dr. Priyadarsh, yet another major outlier. Like all these leaders are outliers, 1%, 1.5%. I don't find much incidence for them. But we have Dr. Priyadarsh coming in next. Dr. Priyadarsh?
Am I audible?
Yes.
Can I share my content? I am not.
पूरी तरह से आपका शो है आप. Entirely yours.
I cannot share the PPT.
Presenters, could you please make him the, like host, please make him the presenter.
We are making, sir, just a moment.
Okay. So while you're being made the presenter, I would request the audience. पता नहीं यार क्या है, मतलब we are young, we should be energetic, we should be vocal. हाँ, अपने सारे जो भी दिल में जो भी questions आ रहे हैं, दिमाग में जो भी questions आ रहे हैं, सारे पूछो. If you want to congratulate, but then if you have a query, if you have wisdom, share karo. Please be very vocal on the chat window. Yes, Dr. Priyadarsh.
So when I joined community medicine, my parent asked me, never heard of this specialty. What exactly comes under community medicine? And my reply was everything under the sun, including the sun. So this is me, Dr. Priyadarsh, and I'll be sharing some insights and some experiences. The speakers asked me to share the life journey, so I made a long presentation. So please bear with it. So the journey till now, did my MBBS from Maharashtra and then worked in PHC in a tribal area for 6 years. Worked in Christian Hospital, Visakhapatnam in Orissa for 1 year. MD Community Medicine in MGMS, and then now working in Shahid Hospital. And this is an interesting picture. You are looking at a bull, and you can see that it is a cannula is attached to bull's ear. So this was a case presented to me in my PHC. The bull got a cobra bite, and the villagers took this bull to me, and then I have to become a veterinary doctor also, and then put cannula and give ASV and save this bull. So this is how I'm just going to share different dimensions of the work I did. So in PHC Khartoum, when I joined, so it was having high child mortality, maternal mortality, many cases of malnutrition in the 42 villages we are working. OPD was very minimal, like 10 to 20 per day, with no IPDs and no deliveries in the PHC building, and a lot of superstition. But when I left, just a little bit make a difference, like the OPD and IPD were increased, deliveries were like 150 deliveries per year, maternal mortality due to preventable cause could be reduced, malnutrition reduced by 20%, and referral rate specifically, I want to tell that it was less than 5%. We could manage maximum patients at our PHC because it was around 150 kilometers away from the district headquarters. And then the most important was the people says that tribal people will not come to the PHC, they will always go to the Bhagat and Bumpa and traditional healer. But our PHCs defied that norm. There was a trustful relation with the public, and then they used to come to our hospital. But that is not the only thing. During the stay in PHC, we not only did health, but also the related things like organizing youth camps for the nearby youths, also inviting the various medical students to the PHC area, and then making library in the PHC, sports, career guidance for the students, NEET coaching for the students who are studying in ashram schools who don't have teachers, and then plantation. Also, I started a school in that area. It ran for 3 years till I was there. So, and again, I also had a very peculiar interest in working in disasters. Like it was a thrill to work in such areas. You go and then you save some people, you travel, and there is so much rappelling and then danger involved. So initially, I worked in Kosi floods in 2008, then also in Kedarnath tragedy in 2013. But both this time was more of a thrill. I did help people, but it was not planned thing. Go to the villages, do some medical checkup, medical camps, and come, and then you lost the track of the villages. But in 2018 in Kerala flood, from MJMS, I was sent along with the batch of students from the college, and we actually could make actual difference by various public health measures and teaching the people there about various preventive measures. So I was happy I could turn from a thrill-loving maniac who want to go in disasters to actually someone who is thinking about long-term sustainable changes. After that, joined in Chhattisgarh, Christian Hospital, Bisamkatak, Dr. Johnny Umen, who is from Sensi, Vellore, was there who taught me basics of community medicine. And I was also taught surgeries by Dr. Sunil. So I was like 3 days working in surgery department, 3 days in the community, and I owe a lot to them. Then came MJMS Sevagram from 2016 to 19. MD Community Medicine, but not only that, with the help of Dr. Subodh sir, Dr. Abhishek sir, and many more friends, we did a lot of things, not just the PG. Organized 3 annual meets of Medico Friends Circle, started Sunday meets for the students who are socially interested in the college, and then we used to meet weekly. Also, we conducted many youth camps in Wardha, also did Shramdan, and then so the group was increasing more and more, and then they were all like wanted to do something and were searching various means to do it. So these are some pics of those things. Then I finished my residentship and then joined Shahid Hospital. And in Shahid Hospital, after 1 year, after I think 6 months, the COVID crisis came, and then I will share in brief the learning and respondings during the COVID. So the main problems we were seeing were the flooding of misinformation initially. So from 14th March to 18th March, we were roaming around the streets, visiting villages, and we're seeing that lots of WhatsApp messages were coming to people, and there was a lot of misinformation about COVID. Some people were saying that you should drink alcohol. Some people were saying that you should smoke, and that way COVID will get out. And because the people were saying alcohol-based sanitizer, and people don't understand sanitizer, but they know alcohol. So, and there were many other misinformations, like it is causing by hence, so you should stop eating non-veg food and other things. But nobody is following the actual distancing, and they were following other measures like mask and other things. So what we did, so from 18th March, we started our work. We called some of our friends that, okay, we want to respond to this. So on that day, we searched Ministry of Health and Family Welfare website. There were only 3 posters for COVID, that too in English. And in Chhattisgarh, very few people will understand English in the villages. So what we did was we decided that, okay, we'll search the literature. We'll make a website platform where all the information from all the states will be at one place, and that will be, we'll also create the information which is based on the current actual standard guideline by the country or WHO, and we'll make posters based on various themes, videos based on various themes, and we'll also translate it to maximum languages as possible, and we'll keep all the information on one platform. So then we made a web page with videos, posters, FAQs, and all the links of all major websites concerning health, like CDC, WHO, and Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, and all the state departments' health website were on this page, and also had all the material regarding COVID on the same web page. And for this, we had around 600 volunteers from all over the country who were helping us in creating the information, translating the information, also spreading the information. So these are some web pages. Then then we heard about the migrants, and then we decided, okay, let's check it out ourselves. And ours is a strategic location. Our hospital is situated between the 2 borders from Maharashtra to Chhattisgarh, and maximum migrants were traveling through this route only. One is Manipur border, which is attached to Gadchiroli in Maharashtra, and second is the Baghnadi border, which is attached to Nagpur and Bhandara route. And all the migrants were traveling through this route only because all the migrants were mostly from Jharkhand, Orissa, Chhattisgarh, Bihar, UP, and they have to travel this route to reach their respective places. So these are the pictures what we saw on, I think, 2nd of April when we went to see the people. They were traveling in extreme heat, and this truck, the truck owner was taking 4 lakh rupees from these people to travel from Mumbai to Orissa. The other people were traveling on any vehicle which is available, and that was a horrible scene. So we decided that we will respond. And so this is the Baghnadi border. Daily tens of thousands of people were reaching here, and then the state government didn't made any arrangement to take them further. So we fought with the administration, convinced them, permissions to run process from them, or organize some money, did fundraising, and then with the help of it, we could sponsor around few buses. So these were the list which our friends from Maharashtra used to send to us. Okay, we're sending these people from the bus. Okay, once they reach there, you should take care of them. And then we call those lists the Schindler's list. Whatever they sent to us, and we could help them. So these are some list, some names among those lists. So in total, we could organize 105 bus trips. Around 6,000 migrants were sent to home across India at maybe Jharkhand, Odisha, Bihar, Chhattisgarh, and also we arranged train tickets for them. The next thing, the government started the train services, but then there was no pantry car functioning inside the train. There was no station was having any supply of meals. So we heard that the people are going in the train, but then they are hungry. They are not getting anything on the stations wherever the train is stopping. So at 11 different locations, we started providing meals to the people who are traveling in the trains. Around 22,000 trains, 22,000 people we could help at different train stations. We also came to know that many good NGOs who are working in the field of health are having crisis in getting the PPEs or sanitizers and other things. So we made a list of central NGOs in the central India who are working in the field of health and providing the health services to the very marginalized population, and also in Western India. And then we, through the help of friends from Delhi and from Pune, we could send them the PPEs which was actually not available anywhere in India at that time. It was around April or May, and then we could send them the PP, sanitizers, and gloves, masks, so that they could function at least till 2 months, and then we can help them more after that. At the same time, there were many news coming from different parts of India that many people were not having rations because the work has stopped because of the lockdown. People were not having money, so we have to rope in and then help not many but few people like the sex worker community in Mumbai, transgender group in Kolkata, geriatric population in different parts of Maharashtra, nomadic tribes people in Aurangabad, and fishermen communities living in Konkan and Palghar. So it was not a single person's work, it was a teamwork, and then we had many people, many youngsters, many youths from Sevagram Medical College who just passed out or were doing internship, were helping us with all these things. So that was truly a teamwork. So this was the COVID response we did. Right now I'm working in Shaheed Hospital. I joined in June 2019. And then, okay, so we had a community program here. We're working in 12 villages, and we started Kiran Clinic, which is based, Kiran Clinic model, which is based on Kiran Clinic model in what I learned in Sevagram. And I'm also engaged in 3 research studies, one on NCD, then second on scrub typhus, and third, curcumin adjuvant therapy for anti-malarial drug. So scrub typhus is very much rampant here, and we can see lots of cases because of that. But even not it is not seen so common in many places, including Raipur, and then we have to form our own various mechanism to diagnose it, because the RT-PCR or whatever the testing is done, it is also only done, ELISA testing is only done in Raipur. So then we have to find our own way of screening the patient and then starting the treatment, because the investigations will take maybe 7 days, and then the report will come after that. The patient might get serious till then. So these 3 things we are doing right now for as part of my research studies. But I'm also posted in the surgery department here. Thanks to the surgery I learned in Bisamkatak, so I could help in surgery also, and we do all the type of obs-gynae surgery, general surgery, and orthopedic surgery. We also started by the youth for the youth Humanita Foundation, and through it we are starting we are starting youth camps for socially sensitized college-going youths from Chhattisgarh, and we like to make it a model which will be replicated in other parts of the country also. So it is for the investing in future social change makers and leaders and help them. Like in the previous slide, Dr. Parag rightly said that, okay, he took all the efforts and made himself available and present to different kinds of exposure during his PG time. But we want to help the students right from their UG times, giving them the platform like this, helping them meet many social change makers, and then igniting the fire in them if they choose to take this path. We're also starting a gratitude I2H fellowship, that is investment in humans who are for the youths who are starting their work just now, and then we want to help them self-sustain during initial 2-3 years of their work, and also help them in capacity building for various kind of resources. So after reading all this, this is the response everybody want to give. Wow, what a story! But this is just the intermission. Like to be very humble, this is just a 25% of the story. It is not more than that. So what is the other 75% part? I think the loneliness, that is the toughest thing, because on working in remote area, you don't get like-minded people with whom you can talk. There is always hard work, but then very few people to appreciate you. You have to envision the heard and unheard, the unseen, and then you have to sell that dreams to others who will believe in you, or they will simply call you insane. And then maintaining the motivation all these years, learning to cope failures, because failure will be the biggest part of your life, and then developing mechanism to deal with the failures. I think planning for the dreams and then implementing the plans. This is very important. Cultivating right attitude from your failures and experiences, because many people will then stop this work, or they will go in addictions, or they will blame someone. But then having the correct attitude, cultivating it inside you, cope with this failures is very important. Care all time about your thought process, not giving up till you succeed. Sometimes you can take a break of 2 years and then you start your work. Like the school we started in Melghat, we ran it for 3 years. Then I went away from there, and then it has to be closed down. But then again, I know one day I will again start the school there. So there is no shame in saying that, okay, I failed. And finally, keeping grounded and not letting success go in your head, because the success will bring many things to you. But then again, there is a high chance that you'll get that ego in you, and then next time you're not prepared for failure. So keep working on yourself to be best version of yourself. So failures, I think those are the main part of my life. In PHC, I was not trained to deal with secondary healthcare. I was only dealing with the primary healthcare. So in MBBS, I didn't study it so nicely. It was not so good. I now thinking back, I think that I should have studied more seriously in MBBS. I was not aware about health determinants and research methodology. So that because of that, I worked a lot in Melghat in the PHC for 6 years. But then the health indicators reached a plateau, and I didn't know that how to improve the health indicators more. Because I was not aware of all those things. That's why I decided that I will take PG in community medicine to understand these determinants. And then I was not in very good position to understand the system, and then I was reluctant to take outside help. So these were the failures or the challenges at PHC. In COVID times, when I worked, the big regrets were that I couldn't document the things. There were many stories, and I couldn't document because 3 months, like literally, I slept 3 hours a day, and then 21 hours continuously working the hospital, then people calling for bus services, and people calling for COVID help, then people calling for a ration, and then we have to manage all those things. So there was a very difficult time. But I think I should have allocated that work to someone who could document those things. I lost the documents, and I lost the contacts also. Couldn't manage all the volunteers properly. We had 600 volunteers from all in India, but I couldn't delegate them proper work. So then many volunteers were lost who wanted to help, but then we couldn't actually spare time to help them find the work they want to do. Then the third is mental health support group. We created a platform for like 11 psychiatrists were there who were ready to help us with any mental health problems faced by the health staff. Because they were the ones who were facing the brunt during the initial COVID days, but then it didn't materialize. Then we did a lot of NGO listing from all over India, but then we couldn't do anything of it. So these were the, I think, missed opportunities, and I think we could have done much more. Maybe after 3 months of working in COVID, I went to sleep mode, and then the work stopped there. So now, while working in Shahid Hospital, the challenges ahead are like there is a flooding of NCDs, but in the community, we are getting non-compliance of patients, and they're not taking treatments. They are refusing it because they are feeling okay and they're not feeling sick. So we don't know what to do next. We don't have a dedicated team for community work, but then we are finding our ways out slowly. Because of the COVID time, our community work suffered because we couldn't visit the villages, we couldn't arrange their meetings, so let's develop with the villages due to COVID. So the rapport is still developing, it is not fully developed. About non-NCD, so managing the time, clinical, non-clinical is still a struggling point, because then till 2, I am at the hospital doing the OTs, and then after 4 o'clock, we have to go to villages and then return back at 8 o'clock. So these 4 years only we had for work, and then because of the less team, no dedicated, have to do many things on our own. Scrub typhus, snake bite, OP poisoning, suicides, addiction and related RTA is a very big problem here. And it is, I think, increasing in many other parts of the country. So I'm not just getting enough space in mind to even think about those problems, what can be done. Maybe if other things get eased on, I think we can start one by one on different things and start working on it regarding the foundation, the challenge is like we are starting go to the people youth camps. It was supposed to start last June. COVID cancelled the camp. It is supposed to start this May, but I think again because of the COVID, we have to postpone it further. So we don't know exactly. It's still everything is set, everything is done, all things are materialized, all the model is done, but then because of the COVID, it is getting delayed. So we're trying to evolve a model for social sensitization and development of youths. In various aspects. So, and we're also trying to overcome the generation gap, because like I joined medical school in 2003. Now it's like 2021. So I'm still scared that, okay, there might be a big generation gap, and then I might be not keeping up with whatever is going on right now in the medical students' mind. So while making this camp, I have to be very cautious. Secondly, with the help of I2H fellowship, I think we can raise money for them, but for their resources and skills, we are still struggling to find the people who can help them with the resources and other skills. Then we are also thinking of developing a dedicated individual donor base with small donations and not much dependent on the big funding agency then, because you have to mold your plans according to them. So that is a thing we are going to start here. So this is I think my PPT has.
Yeah, I think Dr. Priyadarsh, your PPT has stuck. Yeah.
Yeah, and how to restart it?
I don't know if you could just like complete it without the PPT. Just stop sharing and wrap up within a minute or so, because we need to take some questions.
It's the last slide after this. So I gave permission to someone. I don't know, some request came for the permission, and I gave permission, and then I could. Okay. So where is the public health here in all those sharing? I think public health is everything under the sun, including the sun, as I said earlier. You name the work and it is related to public health in some or the other way. And it's just the perspective, how we look at it, and try to make it count, make it replicable, measure it, and see if we can make any difference in any small way possible. Why can't we make our own definition of public health? So that's the attitude I want to keep. And ओके, तेरे सीने में ना सही पर मेरे सीने में सही हो कहीं भी आग, लेकिन आग जलनी चाहिए. So thank you, and thank you all for this opportunity.
Very comprehensive capture, but still many things not yet touched. One key learning that I take from your entire journey is that it's a movie dictate. No, a soldier is never on holiday. So wherever you have been very responsive to your local context and have been working towards providing comprehensive solution. So it's not just one domain solution. It was not just about people crossing the border. You made other arrangements. You mobilized other stakeholders. So that's a unique thing, and collective leadership and being able to innovate. So thank you. Those are like very small bullets from your entire talk. Many things I've missed out, but in the interest of time, we'll have. Thank you, Dr. Priyadarsh. If you could just stop presenting your screen. And I would now request all the speakers for the day to switch on your video and come live for some interaction. I understand that Dr. Shailendra is not there. Dr. Shailendra, are you there? Not yet?
Okay. I tried calling him, but he's not picking up the phone. I'm not sure if he's going to join or not.
Okay. So, yeah, Dr. Priyadarsh, just move your cursor to the center top. Center top.
Center top.
Yeah, a floating ribbon should fall down.
Yes. So,
right. So there you get a tab for stop presenting. Great. So for the audience, now this is not a complete picture of leadership. Now we talked about people who have been in academia but have been doing something different. People who went into programs and tried out different things, their journey. But there are other modalities of leadership, especially on aspects of thought leadership. That means you go on publishing a lot, you become a thought leader. You are very adept at evidence collation and communication. You are getting into a policymaker domain. So thought leadership is one arena, and we did not have representation in today's panel. We had underrepresentation of female leaders. We had very selective catchment today. But if we look at it, 9 unstructured interactions do lead to some saturation of findings. And some of the key learnings that came up have already been summarized. But one major aspect that was not actually highlighted by either me or Dr. Shiv before is about emotional intelligence. And that covers up other aspects of knowing oneself, knowing one's environment, how to interact, how to socialize, how to move people in a way empathetically. That need not always be being goody-goody, but being very focused, and you know the other person's, your team members' best benefits, and you express your emotions in a way that that person moves on to achieve that goal. So having clear goal setting for yourself and your team. Family support was not adequately highlighted, but whatever your scope of work, you are a leader within your house. You take decisions, leaders take decisions, and you take decisions for your family. So you are a leader within your house. And if you are not able to share your vision within your family, with your spouse, with your parents or your immediate people, and they are not on board supporting you out, then definitely you're designed to fail. So please engage your family, share your thoughts, where your goals are getting you to. And if they are on board, definitely you are having that masala X to become a leader. Now, we have a couple of questions, but before we take the questions that have been typed in, I requested Dr. Preeti Solanki. She sent out a question. Dr. Preeti, if you could come live and ask your question, please.
Yes. Am I audible?
Yes, not visible.
Yes, actually, I have kept the video off because the net problem is there. If I'm audible, then I am going ahead with the question. First of all, thank you for giving me this opportunity. And every journey that has been shared during this session has been unique and truly inspiring. So I want to ask all our public health leaders that which is the most important quality in your opinion is needed in a public health leader if they want to create or make a difference?
Dr. Preeti, yeah, yes.
Yes.
So,
Okay.
any of the speakers would like to react to that question? Tough one.
May I go?
Yeah, please.
I thank you, Dr. Preeti, for this. I think perseverance is the most important quality I would expect that public health leaders should have. So they should keep following the dream that they have chosen for themselves. They should keep, if you have decided to do something, you should keep pursuing on it, keep following on it, because once you stop following it, everything will stop. So don't stop until you achieve that. Having said this, I would also say that don't get yourself overwhelmed, but then keep pursuing things that you have thought for yourself. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Any other speaker or member from the audience would like to add to that?
I think when we talk, can I?
Yes, please, sir.
Yeah. When you talk about leadership, the four essential qualities in a leader. One is the first and foremost is the leader's value quality.
Sir, you got muted. Sir, you got muted, sir. Yes.
Okay.
Shiv, sir. Dr. Shiv.
Sorry. So, am I audible now?
Yes.
Am I audible now?
Yes, yes, sir.
Okay. Can I speak?
Okay.
Dr. Shiv, your audio is not coming through. Dr. Shiva, you can add as we have Dr. Shiv back.
Yeah. Good afternoon to all. Regarding the foremost quality which one of the participants asked, what I personally feel is first most important quality that a leader should have is the communication skill. See, it's not that easy for everyone to become a leader until or unless you have the quality of how to interact with the people around, right? To communicate what exactly you want to do for people or what exactly you want to get done, right? So, what I personally feel is until or unless you have this quality in you, that you are able to convey your message to the one for whom you're working or for whose benefit you want to work for, you cannot succeed. So I would just say this thing only, ki until or unless you work on this particular aspect, you cannot move on. One more thing I want to add on. Every failure in your life takes you to a point from where you have to move on, right? There is a step, you come below, then you take a step ahead, then you come below, then you take a step ahead, right? If you have to reach to topmost point, there's a ladder and you come down and up and down and up, then only you'll be reaching up to that ladder. If you have failures in your life, we should not get disheartened. A leader is the one who takes a stand, who is not disheartened by the failures in the whole process through which leader goes through. And that is the another point which I guess Ship's sir also said, perseverance. In spite of failures, you need to be on track which you have had.
Yes, Dr. Shiva. I think the dictum goes that good communicators are good leaders, and good leaders are always good communicators. So communication is definitely the key. And it is not that we are, we don't face failures. We often face failures, rather more often face failures than success. So what we do, or rather I do, I'll say, when I taste failure, so I keep that book closed for some time and open a new book or a new project and work upon that. And when time permits, and then when I am in a position to communicate effectively and convince my authorities, then I again open that previous task which was rejected, and I was bogged down. So this way, I have not closed that chapter forever. So I know that I'm going to open it. So since this is my vision, and I know this is I want to do. So for the time being, I'm keeping it closed. But I will for sure know that I'll again open that chapter. And meanwhile, I'm not losing time also. So I'm again accomplishing something else.
Yes, sir. So we need not stop. The crux is we need not stop. We need to move on. We need to go on, and we'll definitely achieve one day.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
One thing that cuts through all the speakers today is being ruthless. So even if they say that, okay, there are challenges, we may step back, take a pause and all unfinished agenda. But if you notice, all of them have been very ruthless. So they could have settled down in their comfort zone, come to department at 11 o'clock, leave by 1 o'clock, go buy veggies, lead a very happy family life. That is all possible. But then these are ruthless people. They have been ruthless. They would be having back pain. They would be having neck pain. They would be having diabetes, hypertension, whatever. Loneliness, right? Still they're pushing through, and that's the difference actually. Because when they are slogging so hard, and someone is not slogging as hard, how can that person be a leader? And these are problem solvers also. So you throw them a public health problem, they'll solve. But at the same time, you throw them a family problem, a friend problem, they'll solve everything. So these people, these attributes which are contributing to problem solving at all points of time will help. So move out of your comfort zone, push yourself hard, be ruthless with yourself. At the same time, you will find everything falling into place.
Perfectly, you're saying right.
Right. Anyone would like to add, Dr. Ansika Zade? I think before we add more, we have 2 more questions, but then just a pause. Dr. Abhishek, do we have time?
Yeah, we have. This is lunch hour, so I think we can be ruthless and compromise a bit of our lunch hour.
Again, I can add one thing. See, this is the lunch hour, right? The ones who will utilize the time which is actually meant for breaks or which is meant for some, any XYZ activity is definitely going to leave. So utilize the time which is with you, not making excuses that I didn't have the time, I was having so much activities in the department, I could not do this in the department, XYZ. Don't say this. You have time, utilize the time with you, which is with you, be it be off hours duty, be it be any time. So
be ruthless, but don't be cruel. Okay.
Yeah. Anybody won't be cruel until anybody will utilize these hours only and only if he or she is having interest in a particular thing. Okay. So the thing is, if you have interest, the things will be of value to you, and you will be happily utilizing this time for that particular task. You'll be more than happy rather spending this time on it.
Yeah. Other speakers would like to react to that? Any other speaker? Dr. Mihir, Dr. Abhijit? Just a couple of them calling out. Anyone can chip in.
I just wanted to chip in on this communication. I don't know, my thoughts. What I personally feel is a person may need not have extraordinary oratory skills, but then as a leader, you should be speaking with passion and genuinity. If you are true, if you're speaking from your heart, invariably you'll be able to connect and reach out to people. And somehow the community is smart enough to identify who those with genuine intentions are and who are those fakers, and they will very smartly, without even letting you know, will sideline you. So I mean, communication is an important aspect, but then that does not necessarily mean that it has to be very extraordinary oratory skills, or it has to be you have to be a loudmouth or something of that sort. You can be a very soft spoken, very assertive, but if you are genuine with your intentions, if you have clarity in your thought, you will be able to make that difference. I mean, that is what I have learned from my own experience. Others can add to
I
this.
completely agree with you, sir. I completely agree. Here, with the communication skills, I didn't mean at all that good oratory skills should be there. It is just that you need to communicate with people at their level, right? We need different sorts of people with different education level. So we need to know how to interact, how to come to their level to mix with them.
Yes. So thank you. That was a good discussion initiated in response to Dr. Parag's query. We have two questions. Dr. Amrut Swami, would you like to come live and ask a question directly to the panelists? Okay, I don't know if Amrut is still around, but then the question goes to Dr. Aksa, and then one for Dr. Sharon also. So Dr. Aksa, you still there? Dr. Aksa? Can you please switch on your video? Dr. Jyotsna, you can ask me, you can just come live or send a question to me, I'll take it forward. Dr. Aksa, I don't know if you have Dr. Aksa. That was a compliment, I guess. And Dr. Sharon. Dr. Sharon? Okay. I think because we have over some time, people have their commitments and they would have dropped off. Then some good questions. Anyone would like to take, any of the panelists would like to take this question. What are your ideas for exposure of MBBS students for technology like app development and web designing? What are your ideas for exposure of MBBS students for technology like app development and web designing? Anyone would like to take that question? Any of the speakers?
Can I not be the speaker, but as a participant, I would like to add on to it. Yeah, see, regarding the technology, introducing technology to MBBS students or UG students, I would like to say, see, we all know that new CBME system has been introduced by NMC for undergraduate education, right? Now, CBME itself has added a competency wherein CBME says that we need to provide knowledge of computers in context to epidemiology and various other things which are going on. And it needs to be added up to the logbook of the students. So in one context, CBME is saying itself that we need to teach technology to students at their level. So there's no point having a discussion on it, that whether it should be done or not.
Yeah, but to that, I'd like to add that there is always a first mover's advantage. For example, you won't listen that R is an important software to learn unless there are a couple of people who have already mastered R. And by the time they have mastered R, it's already mundane. So there's always this, you should have this exposure and ability to preempt that this is a future. For example, someone who has already done a PhD in artificial intelligence way back in 2000 will shine now. But if you are realizing that AI is the flavor of the month and now you're getting into it, or GIS is the flavor and you're now getting into it, then you won't be a leader. You will be someone in the crowd. Being able to preempt technology may be the in thing today, but now even school children are knowing how to do coding and all. So, and that skill, if you go to Bangalore, is available for 20,000 or 10,000 a month. So that's not a novel skill. It's only that health people do not know how to code. That's why it's being fantasized. Right. So Dr. Shiv, I would request you to conclude the session.
Yeah. Sir, actually, there's a question. Can I just talk for 2 minutes? So my name is Dr. Shilpa Nelikal, president from GSMC KM. Actually, I was hearing the talks and inspiring. I would just like to share, I think in the last talk, Sir spoke about working in the PHC and how they had to deal with addiction. So I just would like to put forth some of the work that was done by the UG students from our college. We are a group of volunteers that have come together to initiate this place. It's called Mukti Operations, and it was a quit line that was initiated in the lockdown to help people quit substances. And we were mentored by a few psychiatrists, and they were given formal training, and it began began with a few students who went to the training and started the counseling, and we were able to help almost 25 to 26 people either reduce or quit substances, and it was a continuous process. So after this was the product after 3 to 4 months, and I would just like to put forth so I just want to we are available on Instagram, and we are quite active on social media. So we want to reach out more to the public. So I just wanted to put forth this. So anyone thinks that we could do something, and someone could guide us how we could reach out. Right now we are only so the only way we are reaching out to people is through social media, where we put out videos and content on awareness, and then people who are interested get back to us and reach out to the helpline. But if like sir said, like about the village, and if there is another way we could do something, we'd be more than happy to. So yes, thank you.
Dr. Shiv, please react to that.
I think Shilpa, Dr. Shilpa, no?
Yes.
Okay.
Dr.
Yes,
Priyadarsh is
yes, sir.
Many a times we are afraid of communicating with the authorities in position and in government. And we think that our request may be rejected or our voice will not be heard. And that is the difference between leaders and the commoners. So take a step, write a proposal or a collaborative proposal to the government or even to the authorities in health department, or maybe not only in health department, other relevant departments, and you will find that there will be a probably be a positive response from them, and then your entire project will be at a different level. But don't forget to give credit to them also, because then it's not your project only, it's your project, and then the project becomes
Yes.
big. So that will be a good step to take.
Yes, thank you so much, sir. Thank you, sir. Yeah.
Dr. Priyadarsh has already added Dr. Shilpa for you. Dr. Dharav, you should contact Dr. Dharav Shah, who is in Mumbai and working on de-addictions.
Yes, sir. So I'll be very happy to say that Dharav sir is one of our mentors for this project, and he has guided us overwhelmingly during this whole period. So yes, sir is on the team. Thank you, sir.
Fantastic. And thank you everyone for those kind compliments that are flowing in. And we had about 124 participants at one point of time. Now they are hypoglycemic. We are shrinking to 70. Dr. Shiv,
Yes.
please conclude the session.
I'll conclude within just 2 minutes. I think thanks to Dr. Abhishek and the entire team of Sevagram for having this wonderful session. It's a unique session, and we
No need
have
to
had
thank, it's our team. We are all a team in this. Yeah.
we have had 7 speakers, and then more than 100 plus participants, young participants. And the key message was, the key aim was to actually to bring leadership changes in our next generation and within ourselves also at the same time. And there were 2 messages that we all are contributing in our field wherever we are posted, and in whatever positions we are doing whatever we can do, and to the best of our knowledge and to the best of our capabilities. We are communicating effectively. So that is what last debate was going on, whether how to voice should raise or the words should have that strength. The correct word, I think, is effective communication. Now, if I may summarize within 5 points, all the leaders, all of us have set our goals, and we were focused at time. We took timely decisions, like what to do, when to do, and the way we want to do it. We had a plan, and we visualized our vision to reality, and we were constantly learning. So these were the 5 things which I can jot down in a sequence manner, and we were working constantly in that direction. Now, talking about, there was a word of, what is the future vision of our public health. In that also, I think what has come out is that not only MD community medicine or MPH in public health is only essential, or working in a medical college is not important. We have seen, different people coming from different fields, and still we are contributing to single cause of health, or rather public health. So, we must have the public health leaders, young minds, targeting the policies where they are, jotted down. So that should be our ultimate aim. Not only cosmetic changes in the syllabus of community medicine, which is now, CBME. it should be, syllabi plus change, where, the public health training should be according to the challenges and according to the need of the society. We are looking at the MD community medicine or this. So it should be, syllabus plus should be responding to the challenges plus in the society. And probably the more skills to be added in our course is leadership, second is partnership, and third is collaborative approach. We can collaborate with each other like we are here, we are doing, but once this conclave is over, probably we'll go back to our fields and then the story ends there. So we need not to stop there when we should not stop there, and we must continue this journey together. I think, that is what we have learned in 2 minutes, what I can say this.
We should thank all the speakers for being patient with our constant bragging. So we've been in touch, calling them up. We had a pre-conference call as well. Thank you so much, all the speakers, Dr. Arun, Dr. Priyadarsh, Dr. Sharon, Dr. Parag, Dr. Abhay, Dr. Aksa, Dr. Sensi, all of them, and Dr. Shiv. And also thank you, all the organizers, Dr. Ashwini, Dr. Abhishek, Dr. Sareen Kumar, Dr. Divyani, Dr. Badal. Those are the names that I could recollect off the cuff, but there are many more I know. There are other people who joined into the discussions, and we had reached out to everyone as an open forum, but there were participants from Making the Difference group as well. So thank you for participating in this discussion. We hope that we could do some justice to the valuable time that you contributed in attending this session and barge into your lunchtime. Most of us would not realize that we are actually level 4 or level 3 leaders. We are not level 5 leaders, but even level 4 would think that they're level 5. So a bad leader would not know that he's actually bad. But whatever it is, if you think that you are Einstein, then you'd like to work with Newton or Galileo. You would not like to work with someone who is less than yourself. So your responsibility does not end with empowering yourself, but you should empower your immediate surroundings, your friends, your colleagues, because if everyone is good, then the ecosystem thrives, and then they will respect your talent. You will not be respected if you're surrounded by useless people. So empower yourself, empower your surroundings. Ecosystem is very important. So thank you so much. Thank you, organizers, for helping us out. Thank you. Thank you. We'll end it.
Thank you.
How do we end actually?
You are the host, Archesman, for this. You'll have to end.
अच्छा ऐसा है क्या? अब तू ले ले दीदी. अब मेरे को एंड कर. हाँ अब एंड हो जाएगा. Sorry. Thank you so much.